appropriations. So it comes back to Iowans getting in touch with Senator Harkin, who's a good guy, he's on Bread for the World's board, but letting him know that as we're all aware of the budget deficit, that we should do our part to reduce hunger in the world. And then on the issue of foreign assistance reform, the fact that the president has now issued this directive on global development is a big victory for us, but it's just the president. So next year we're going to be campaigning to get the law, to make that reform a matter of law and make it bipartisan so that it'll be long-lasting. So again, it comes back to citizens. We also organize in churches. We ask churches to take up an offering of letters to Congress on an issue like foreign assistance reform. It takes people at the grassroots to push in order to change the politics of hunger.
Just to put this in perspective, what percent of the United States government's budget are we talking about with the programs that you want to see introduced?
All the global poverty assistance is 1% of the federal budget, all of it. And even when you talk about programs that help people in need in this country, all of the programs that help people in need, so that's unemployment insurance, help to the disabled, and help to hungry and poor people, all of that amounts to 18% of the federal budget. 18%. The big spending is in other areas. It's Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and the military. So as we deal with the budget, we've got to deal, and taxation policy. So we've got to deal with taxes and those big spending items. And the risk is going to be that politicians will, let's whack food stamps, let's take some money from the poorest people in the country, or let's cut aid to Africa, and show themselves that they're really serious about the deficit. That is not serious about the deficit. Those programs ought to be made more efficient but protected, and then deal with the deficit through taxation policy and cuts in the big spending items.
Deuteronomy 15:7.
Oh, all right. I love it. Go ahead.
Clearly gives a roadmap for what you're doing, and the New Testament.
It's Deuteronomy 15:7. Is that choose life? Or
no, that's take care of the needy in your community.
Yeah.
Yet the religious right, some of the religious right, and the Tea Party seems to feel that that's socialistic and that we should not do that. If you had a Tea Party person sitting here in front of you, or you were talking to a group of Tea Party people, what would you say to them to counter that argument?
Well, if they believe in the Bible, I'd open the Bible. Because, it's just very clear in the Bible that God cares deeply about poor people, vulnerable people, and not only how we behave as individuals, but what are our laws? Are our laws sensitive to poor people? That's clear in the New Testament as well as in the Hebrew Scriptures. And then, God cares about how we behave as a nation, not only how we behave as individuals. So, you can go through the Bible pretty much book by book, Old Testament, New Testament, it's there. So if it's somebody who believes in the God of the Bible, then you can make it very clear that God wants us to do justice by poor and hungry people. I think the progress that's been made against hunger and poverty around the world, really remarkable progress over the last 20, 30 years, that this is God moving in our own history. This is a holy thing that's happening. It's the great exodus of our time. And I think for those of us who believe in God, the feasibility of more progress against hunger and poverty is a call from God to get with the program and to do our part, and especially to change the politics of hunger and poverty. You can't food bank your way to the end of hunger.
How do you address the atheists or agnostics who see a moral imperative to do what you're doing, but don't come at it from the religious point of view?
Yeah, I think there are different ways of thinking about God. A lot of atheists and agnostics, in fact, are deeply spiritual people who are sometimes rigorously honest people. And no matter what you think about God, when a poor mother cannot respond to the hunger cries of her baby, if you can help that mother provide nourishment to her baby, that is the right thing to do. That is something that is as sacred as anything in human experience. And whether you believe in God or not, or whether whatever you believe about God, all of us know that is a sacred obligation. And so I'm a Christian. I am moved by the grace of God that I know in Jesus Christ to reach out and change laws and structures for hungry and poor people. But there are other people who have different experiences of the holy, and I respect that.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.